God has lifted the curtains for HIV/AIDS cure. AIDS is no more a death sentence for years. A haunting question echoed across pulpits, streets, and silent hearts. Did God send AIDS as punishment for sexual sin? It's a question born not just of fear, but of confusion and pain. In the early days of the HIV epidemic, when death seemed inevitable and stigma was brutal, some clung to the idea that this disease was divine retribution. But let us ask with open hearts, is that truly the nature of a loving God? The Bible tells us that God is just, but also that He is merciful, full of compassion, and slow to anger. The God who reached out to touch lepers, the God who wept over Jerusalem, the God who gave His Son to redeem all brokenness is not the architect of fear and shame. He is the architect of healing. No, beloved, AIDS was not God's wrath. It was not His punishment. We live in a broken world where viruses mutate, where sickness spreads, where choices both personal and systemic create consequences. But even in this brokenness, God does not abandon us. Instead, He enters the pain with us. He carries us. He gives wisdom to scientists, strength to caregivers, and hope to the afflicted. And now, in a moment both miraculous and medical, that hope is bursting into light. Diseases once feared, now cured. This isn't the first time a disease has been misunderstood as a curse. Once, tuberculosis was seen as divine judgment. Malaria claimed the lives of millions. Polio crippled children and silenced futures. Cancer, for years, was whispered like a death sentence. But what happened? Humanity didn't just survive. We fought back with prayer, perseverance, and science. Vaccines were developed. Treatments evolved. Survival became the norm, not the exception. And so it is with HIV/AIDS today. As of 2025, the unthinkable is becoming reality. AIDS is no longer a guaranteed death sentence. The story is changing. The curtain is lifting. From despair to discovery, a 40-year journey. When HIV first emerged in the early 1980s, the world was caught off guard. Over 40 million lives had been lost. Families torn apart, communities devastated, fear spread faster than the virus. People with HIV were often isolated, judged, and abandoned. Treatments in those early days were rough, barely effective, harsh on the body, and often too expensive to access. In many cases, silence surrounded those suffering. Shame became part of the illness. But through it all, God was listening. Through researchers, through faith leaders, through caregivers, and relentless advocates, He was planting seeds. And now, those seeds are blossoming into something extraordinary. Modern miracle, the Melbourne breakthrough. In Melbourne, Australia, at the Peter Doherty Institute, scientists have created something remarkable, a lipid nanoparticle called LNPX that delivers mRNA therapy similar to the technology used in COVID vaccines. But this isn't just any treatment. This therapy seeks out the hidden reservoirs of HIV in the body, the places where the virus has long been attainable and untouchable. It shocks the virus out of hiding, then kills it, using the body's own immune system. It's a strategy they call shock and kill, and it's working. Not just in theory, but in labs, and soon, in people. This is God working through science. This is prophecy meeting progress. Cured lives, living testimonies. And these aren't just headlines. It's people, real people, who once carried HIV and now live virus-free. There's the Berlin patient, the London patient, the Chicago and Oslo patients, each of them cured through groundbreaking stem cell transplants. These are not rumors. These are peer-reviewed, medically confirmed cases. The stem cells came from donors with a rare genetic mutation that makes their cells resistant to HIV. The treatments are complex. Yes, but they show us what's possible. They show us what's next. Africa rising, hope on the continent of suffering. In Africa, where HIV has left its deepest scars, hope is rising like the morning sun. In South Africa and other nations, trials are showing promise. Immunotherapy using broadly neutralizing antibodies is helping patients suppress the virus without the need for daily antiretroviral drugs. In some cases, people are staying healthy and undetectable for months without medication. This is a miracle unfolding where it is needed most. It's no longer just about surviving HIV, it's about defeating it. Gene editing, erasing HIV from the body. Meanwhile, in research centers across the world, scientists are using CRISPR gene editing technology to go even further. Imagine. A cure that edits HIV out of your DNA entirely. That's not science fiction. This could be the final step, the closing chapter. The moment HIV is not just managed but eliminated. This isn't random progress. This is divine timing. And we dare to call it what it is. A miracle. Living with HIV. A message of life, not death. And to the 39 million people still living with HIV today, we see you. You are not cursed. You are not forgotten. You are not a mistake. Thanks to advanced antiretroviral therapy, you can live a long, full life. If your viral load is undetectable, you cannot transmit the virus. This is the powerful truth behind you equals you. Undetectable equals untransmittable. Say that again. If it can't be seen, it can't be spread. That's science, and that's mercy. You are not defined by your diagnosis. You are a living, breathing testimony of resilience. You are walking proof that God's grace is sufficient. Let's not get it twisted. The cure is not yet in every clinic. The treatment is not yet affordable for all. But look at how far we've come. The God who walked the streets of Galilee and healed the sick is walking through hospital wards today. He is working in the hands of nurses, the minds of scientists, the words of educators, and the hearts of pastors. He is doing what he always does, redeeming, reviving AIs. No longer has the final word. The day is coming and it's not far off, when we'll look back on HIV the same way we now speak of polio or smallpox, once deadly, now defeated. Cancer too will fall. Already we see immunotherapy, gene therapy, and nanotreatments making leaps. It's only a matter of time before what once terrified us becomes a thing of the past. God is not finished. You've turned away from God because of pain or confusion. Let this moment bring you back. He is not a cruel judge sending plagues. He is a loving father pulling his children from the fire. He is not the author of disease. He is the giver of healing. The story of HIV is not just one of science and statistics, one of divine intervention. A story that says, no matter the darkness, light will find a way in. Lift up your eyes. So here we are, a moment in history where heaven and earth are touching once again. Where a disease that once devastated is being dismantled. Where the shame that once silenced is being shouted down by victory. If you are living with HIV, live loudly, live fully. The end of your story is not death, it is life. If you've lost someone, let your grief turn to fuel. Their memory lives on in every breakthrough, every healed body, every new beginning. And if you've doubted the goodness of God, look again. He's here, he's healing, and he's not finished. God has lifted the curtains. AIDS is no more a death sentence. Hope is alive. Healing is moving. And the future is bright. Amen.